Hello everyone, Argsy here. Welcome along to another video for Farming Simulator 25. We're going to take a very quick look at Anywhere Object Storage for Farming Simulator 25. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, bear with me because we will get into it. Anywhere Object Storage was a mod we created for Farming Simulator 22, basically taking the giant in-game object storage, which came with a shed, and converting it to be able to be used in any shed at all. Basically, it had no building with it. It had a couple of marker poles so you knew where you were putting it down, and then it could convert any shed that really it worked in and fitted in into a storage. The idea was that if you came to a pre-built farm, kind of like we've got here on Riverbend Springs, you might have a look at this shed here and go, well, this will make a great storage. I'd love to use the object storage with it, but I can't. I have to demolish it. I have to put down a new shed, and the object storage that Giants provide doesn't allow you to stay in it and use it for other storage. So when the shed's empty, it can't be used to store a combine like this one here is. It can only be used for bale storage. So I thought, let's see if that will work. And we've managed to make it work for FS25, and we've converted it over here. So let's dive in. We'll take a look in the shop, have a look at it. I'll explain it a little bit further and show you how it all works. So I've brought up the build menu here. Now the object storage is under silos. I'm going to tab across. Now, just as a comparison, this is the Giants one. Exactly like I said, you just go and have a look in there. You can see it's got the trigger, it's got everything like that. It's basically the shed that we've got there next to us. But it needs to be placed on its own, and it can only be used for bale storage or object storage, pallets and things like that. So we'll keep on scrolling down, we'll get to the bottom here, and we've got two different versions. So at the moment we're only doing the shed object storage. We haven't included the outdoor bale storage or the field bale storage we had in 22. It is just the two for the sheds. So we've got the $5,000 version here, which can store up to 500 bales or pallets of anything you like. We've got the slightly smaller version, which is a limit of 250. So we'll have a look at them here and I'll explain how they work. So we're just going to put it in here on the paved area, on the gravel area. So basically we've got 4 poles, and those poles denote where the object storage is. So if you were to fill it up, that area would be covered with bales, pallets, etc. We've got in the front, we've got 2 different areas. We've got the area in the yellow and black warning signs. That's where you dump and unload your bales or objects into to be stored. And then the spawn area, which extends out to about the front of the red mesh. Now the poles and mesh can all be hidden. They are just there to give you cues and prompts as to where you need to put your shed, where it needs to go, where you want to position it in your shed to be able to get it in the right spot. So that's the larger of the two. Just have a look here at the smaller one. And as you can see, it's slightly shorter, slightly smaller, and suits smaller sheds. So how would you go about placing this? Well, we're going to bring up the larger one and have a look at putting it here into the shed that has the combine into it. Now we're going to turn on snapping because this shed is at a certain angle. So we turn that on. You can see our poles, if we look down the side, we can get them in a position which basically lines us up with the side of the shed. So that's pretty much square in the shed. So we're going to go down in here, get nice and low. It's a little bit of trial and error, or a little bit of playing around, but you can see if we just tab that about there, move it around a little bit, you can see we've got our tip point just in the edge of the shed. We've got our poles pretty much in at the edge of the shed on both sides. Kind of move it over a little bit. In fact, now that we've got it in the right position, we can probably turn the snapping off and get a little bit more fine movements. There you go. We can sort of position that so the poles are within it, and maybe even rotate it around a little bit just to get it as fine-tuned as you like. So we position there, you can see all 4 poles. Now you can see we've got a warning there that says it does overlap with another object, and that's because we're trying to place it down in the shed. This is where the magic happens. If we turn on our toggle free mode to on, you can see we can now place that without any issues. Now there's no ground leveling or anything like this, so you can see it only costs the $5,000. So the idea is to use it in a shed like this, which is already being placed. So we're going to place that item, left click on our mouse or whatever button it is on your controller or keyboard, and we've now got an object storage here in the shed to go and have a look at. And as you can see, we can come right in, we can walk in around here. We've obviously still got the trailer in there. You can see where our poles are sticking through, but don't worry about those because they are going to disappear in just a minute. But this, while it's empty, can still be used as a machinery and equipment storage. Now, as I said before, we've got our two different points here. We can come and interact with this one. The storage is currently empty, so we can't actually interact with it. But we've got our tip trigger, which basically occurs in the yellow and black area. So to unload your bales or whatever it might be, don't worry about the flickering, we're going to get rid of this. But over on the side here, there's a little exclamation mark. And if I just bring up our help menu in the top corner, you can see left click on our mouse will hide markers. Now, you can see this pole right here in front of us. In fact, you can see the bottom of the pole. You can see the red mesh. We're going to click that and both have disappeared. So we've now got no more poles, we've got no more markers or anything like that. It just looks like an object storage, but it is a pre-built shed and can be used as such. Now we're going to go around the corner and have a look at the smaller one as well. Of course, if you go into your settings, under your general settings, you can go off for your interactive zone markers and your info trigger. And if we exit out of here, you can actually see there's no prompts or anything for you to know that there is an object storage. You can come over and get into the right spot, stand there, and you can see at the top there we've got the option to open the storage dialog. Once again, it is empty, but we will go and grab some items. We'll put them in there and have a quick look at those in just a second. But I'm just going to walk around to this little shed here. In fact, let's go in through the back door. Open that one up. Got the trailer in here. This shed is the perfect size for the small object storage. So once again, bring up our build menu. Exactly the same deal as before. We've got our small object storage here. Now we're just going to play around with this position just a little bit more. We might want to bring it clear of the boat in the background. Might even want to bring it forward so that the posts are right at the very front and we're using the full width of the object storage. You can just sort of play around with it till your heart's content and get it in the perfect position for you. So I think if we just put that there, once again we've got overlaps with another object. We need to turn our free mode on, press B, that's going to go there, give us a $2,500 prompt, and we can put that one down. And exactly the same as what we've just previously had. You can see our 4 poles are in there. That's denoting where our storage is going to be. And if we come around, well, we can't see it because I've turned those warnings off, but in under here, well, actually I'm in the right spot because you can see it up the top. We've got our hide markers and we've got object storage in the shed. You can see we've got the prompt down there telling us the capacity of it, but we can still use this as a shed for storage while we don't have anything in there. So I'm going to go and grab a load of bales, we'll grab a trailer, and we'll have a look at how this all works. So I've gone and grabbed a truckload of just about everything I could think of. We've got bales, bags, totes, pallets, all sorts of different things on there. And we're just going to have to manipulate our way into the trigger. That's the downside. It's a little bit of a, well, we've pushed it far enough back, the trigger's kind of in the way. But let's just get ourselves backed in there. Now, we unstrap everything because it's currently strapped up on there. It's not actually able to be unloaded, but if we press L, there you go. First, the few bales there have disappeared. Let's just see if we can back this all in and get everything unloaded off it. Alright, there we go. We've managed to get everything all offloaded and unloaded. And you can see as we've hopped out, it now tells us the any shed object storage. 34 items in there and the assortment of pallets and bags and bales that we've put in there. If we just go down and have a look, you might see, no, we're still clear of that. So the back of the header isn't even in there, but these don't have a collision on them. So that was what allows us to still have the bales, have this used as storage. There's no collision on these objects, so that's why you can still have your equipment in here. Of course, being realistic, we wouldn't want to be able to store anything in there, but it does make use of this shed, and of course if we had it fuller, we'd be able to move everything out. So that is basically how object storage works and how it's used to convert any shed into an object storage. Now if we just very quickly run over here to the other one, I do just want to demonstrate this one. It works on exactly the same principle. We've gone and got ourselves a bale stacker here with a load of bales. Just jump up in there and press our Y for unload. Should all fold up, get into a position. Now this might be a case because the trailer is in there still, that these bales will clip through the trailer. So once again, depends what you're going to use it for as to what you do. There we go. We weren't quite back in the trigger enough, so let's give those a little bit of a nudge. There we go, that's everything out now, and we'll just pop ourselves around. And as I was saying, we've pretty much judged it perfectly where the trailer doesn't actually have any bales clashing with it, but once again you can see no collision on the bales. So you'd want to pull the trailer out there, but it makes use of an area that wouldn't otherwise be used for storage, or you'd have to get in there and manually store it. We're just going to pull this forward once more, and we will go and look at this again because I didn't show you on the other one. But we just come a little bit out of here and we will spawn some objects out of it. Once again, turn around and go and stand on the unload trigger. Bring this up here, and we can choose how many we want to. So we had 14 in there. We could choose maybe just 4, maybe 6 in there. Press start, and that's going to spawn those out there in stacks of 3, orientated that way around. So you can grab those if you want to make some TMR or whatever it is you're using them for, maybe some bedding, even wanting to sell them because the price is good at the moment. And likewise, we're going to have a little bit of a clash here with this because the truck's probably in the way. I doubt it'll let us spawn them out just because of that, but let's just tab through. We want 4 bags of lime. Let's just have a look. It has spawned them out there on the side. It probably won't spawn any more out because of the position of the vehicle. Let's just give that a go and see if we can pull out these bales of straw. In fact, it has. So it's detected that the truck was in the way, and you can see it hasn't spawned any objects exactly where that was parked. So where the objects are physical, where they have a collision, where they're a rigid object, it won't spawn them where it clashes with the truck. So you do have to have that area clear. You can't load onto, say, a trailer that's auto load or something like that. You couldn't position a trailer in there and get them to stack on that, unfortunately. So there we go. That's I guess that is a very quick rundown of Anywhere Object Storage. Kind of opens up a lot of avenues for the use of different sheds, different areas as storage. You could put one down in the front of the barn here. I've actually played around with having one that's kind of stacked through these side doors, so you could go in through this one. They do have a trigger on them, so we could put the small one down here in front of this, or even in from this side, and use some of this as storage space. So it really does open up a whole lot of possibilities for using existing sheds, particularly when you get into pre-built farms on other maps, on mod maps. That was where the idea originally spawned. The Oaks for FS22 had some really wonderful farm builds, but no way to use the object storage without putting a shed down. So that was what spawned the idea, and yeah, I'm sure it will come in very, very handy. Keep an eye out because I do want to update it and bring some more options to the game, whether it's a smaller version, whether it's some pallet racking, whether we bring back the bale storage for outdoors, which is just a bale storage, simulating stacking bales in the outdoors, whether it's the field bale storage, which is basically a really cheap version to be able to stack bales on the side of the field. Keep an eye out because we'll have a look at bringing those back and adding them in, but I did just want to get this out as soon as possible because I know there was a number of people who had it as a must use on every single game save they had. So there we go. That is Anywhere Object Storage by myself, Argsy Gaming. Currently submitted to Giants. It's on the mod list for testing, and so hopefully we will see that released very, very soon for Farming Simulator 25, and it should, all going to plan, be crossplay. It was certainly crossplay for FS22, so unless they have some reason that they don't want to make it crossplay, it should be once more. So there we go. Anywhere Object Storage, Farming Simulator 25. Hope you found that informative. Hope you found that useful. As always, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.